I'm your host with the most Locum 23. You're joining me for a game called Night Empires, a game that has so much jam-packed into it, you're going to wonder where it's been your entire life. Also in this video, I'm going to include some tips and tricks for jumping into this game, but without further ado, let's get into it. This game is revolving around vampires, werewolves, humans, witches, a lot of really cool things right now that I'm sure has already piqued your interest. It's also a survival type game that vampires don't like sunlight, so they go to sleep at day and come out at night. You have servants and whatnot that will go ahead and help you, so you'll want to keep an eye on your light initially when starting this game. The game has some really cool story behind it, as well as something that I'm not going to spoil at all for you involving the story, but cinematics, little cutscenes, things like that, that are actually very visually appealing. This game is something that you start out and you're just a wandering vampire with a couple guys and you establish this village. You don't even get your big huge castle yet. It's something that you actually build over time. The upgrade times for buildings like this, a lot of games are very slow, up until about Throne Room 10, which is your giant castle, by the way, that you end up getting. The upgrade times for things are super short at the beginning of this game, up until, like I said, Throne Room 10. You'll end up getting one lodge, but as you can see here, you end up getting many lodges, and these are things that you can upgrade over time. You start out with like one or two coffins, you have nothing on the walls, you're starting out with absolutely nothing, and every time you upgrade, you're able to add more and more. Not just that, but the things change visually, cosmetically. You'll start out with like a simple round mirror that, hey, guess what? Gives you a little light avoidance, which is something that plays into the survival aspect of this game. There's also, meditation areas, card tables, carpets, bathtubs, and, of course, coffins for your vampires so they may sleep during the day, which give light avoidance. As you can see here, it is changed now to daytime. That's real lighting, city lighting, and you want to try and upgrade to give light avoidance. Your vampires can get sick, even possibly perish, due to the light, which is something that will be included in the introductory storyline. But, without further ado, here's more things. So, there's stone warehouses, like I said, everything starts out with bare minimum. You don't even have all these buildings initially. And as the story progresses and you upgrade things and establish your base, you're able to move on and establish a table for stone production, eventually adding a gargoyle and other things that are not just very visually appealing, but like I said, they upgrade over time and they change with each upgrade. What's also really cool is you get to watch heroes that you establish with each building, and you get those heroes over time as well through a free summon system, but also heroes that you actually end up finding as you progress through the story for a few of them. As you can see in the zoomed in mode here, we're able to see everyone eating and doing what they do in a typical survival game, and then you can zoom out in case you don't want to see it, which, by the way, I would suggest playing this on possibly your PC via emulation, but it runs just fine on my phone, which is not of a high caliber kind of like quality type phone. It's just something that's kind of mid-range. Anyway. So, as the story progresses, you end up getting a small part of this castle. Initially, the intro area here, which is your throne hall, which, by the way, like I said, depending on where you are and light protection and whatnot, you'll at first start with max power for protecting your vampire workers and whatnot. As your upgrades and throne room progress and evolve and get higher in level, you'll be able to get a lab, a transporter room, which we'll get to in a second, the ability to train troops, which, by the way, this is a game that doesn't require you to train a bunch of monotonous groups of units, such as, typically you've got your infantry, you've got your archers, you've got your cavalry, you've got your siege, and whatnot. That actually is all based on what heroes you put in your lineup that will go out and engage whatever you want to engage, and you can switch those heroes out as you see fit, which we'll get to here in a second. Another really cool aspect of this game is the landscape evolves also as you upgrade your throne room and you upgrade your buildings. So initially this will all be filled with cobwebs and trees, and basically it'll look horribly just like there's nothing really there and no potential in the land. And eventually you'll end up with really cool blood crypt, and I really love the aesthetic that they have with the jack-o'-lanterns, the candles, the trees, and it looks even better at nighttime. It's something that I'll get to here more in a second, but as you can see here, there is a lot of potential for more. This game is something that the developers are currently still working on, and is something that you can get in on, test it, see all about it. And by the way, there currently is no pay-to-win features that you see in a lot of the mobile games that are out there. Will they be adding some? Yes, but hopefully with the devs and seeing how well they do, and which we'll get to here in more detail here in a second, but so far they've done really well by the players, and I'm looking forward to even more from them with this game. You want to know the really cool part? Is a lot of games just, look, here's your base, and this is it, and you can go outside your base. Oh, no, 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 my friend. Guess what? As the story progresses, you're able to go out into the land that is outside of your castle, that is instanced just for you, and you're able to purge people that are against your vampires, werewolves, and whatnot, and you're able to get little blood mist spires that give you benefits, like movement speed, resource gaining, and whatnot. But also, you're able to recruit and save villages from these really bad people. And, well, as you can see here, there's a lot to do. You'll end up fighting villains and basically anti-heroes, I guess, if you're the one cheering for the vampires. But you claim more and more land. And every time you claim more land, as you see here, these villages, you're able to get more followers. So when you need them, especially as you're upgrading your lounges and whatnot, especially needing workers, you will go to these villages and be able to recruit these people for free. That's it. You just tap on it. Once you free the people, you're great. We'll get to here in a second, but you'll end up working your way all the way to this alchemy station where you'll be able to gain bonuses. That's right. All you gotta do is basically donate whatever resource you want to the alchemist, and they'll be able to give you a nice little perk. As you see here right now, I've got stone gathering speed of 3%, and then once you donate or transmute 10 things a day, excuse me, basically you get a random daily blessing, which is really, really cool. There is also types of stones, which we'll get to here in a second, but it's depending on where you currently are located. Now, for story purposes, like I said, that portal we won't go into, but you end up using a portal which transports you to other parts of your land that has kind of like, as you can see here, this fog that you, over time, will end up removing and gaining land and bonuses and perks where, hey, you even have a vendor here where he basically says, hey, here's 700 troops for these crystals, do you want to do it? And by the way, this is something that is upgradable over time for free. Nothing happens. Just basically depending on your current tech system is what he will offer you, which is really cool. As you can see here, we continue to go across this land. There's villages up here and the whole 9 yards. And as you can see, there's a lot of these little houses and villages where you can recruit things, gain perks, and whatnot. Eventually, you'll be able to get pets. Yeah, really cool, isn't it? So you'll be able to go down here, and there is your little dragon, little fluffy kitties, and even an owl. And there's even more that are coming. This is amazing. So when I say coming, we'll get to here in a second, but it depends on where you are land-wise. So by the way, not just does it look like a little rodent dragon, but it has abilities, and guess what? They go up for tech levels. There's also previews. Yes, your little rat-looking dragon will end up upgrading to an actual dragon. But don't worry, there's a level beyond that which is legendary. Yes. Also, yes, for the little kitty, I'm sure you're wondering, you get a giant winged lion, and then a cat girl, question mark, that can also fly. But the owl also is one as well. Really dig this one. Really cool looking. So as you can see here, each pet gives certain specific level attributes. right? Initially, you can level all the way up to 10 to get what you need. Is really not that hard. You can do little travel journeys every single day. There is 4 selections of them. So initially, you can do the 5-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute, and 6-hour, where the 6-hour one gives you the most amount of things. And basically, they go towards your level. They go towards a lot of things that you can get that go beyond here. But once you get to a certain level where you're able to ascend, what you can see here, basic ascension stones. And yes, you can give your little rodents love too. You will end up being able to ascend them to the next level. What this means is you're able to do refine attributes, which I'll show you here. Every time you do it, it upgrades their abilities. Now, there are times where it will degrade as well, and you'll be like, oh no, I'm losing perks. It's kind of like an RMG system, but basically as you go on, and you'll see here, they'll upgrade regardless. Okay, and eventually you'll hit max, and then you'll have to ascend your pet once again. So basically it's depending on how many stones you have and whatnot. Yes, you can initially name your pet, which I kept the default names, but as you can see here, it takes 50 crystals to rename it, which really is not that much, but make sure that if you choose your name for your pet initially, you choose a good one in case you want to save those 50 crystals. So once you're able to unlock the research, you're able to go and involve development, military, economics. I would suggest constantly upgrading these as soon as possible, and they don't really outpace your throne room and whatnot. As you can see here, I need level 17 for the next upgrade, which we're currently working on, but there are some things that I'm not currently doing, and let's go ahead and jump on that. So, as you can see here, this one increases my defense, this one increases my HP, and it gives you a rundown of everything you gain from those. There's armor, and they're quite a bit to research, I'm going to be honest with you. And it paces with your throne room. So keep that in mind. I'm the type of person that always focuses on development and economy first and foremost, military second. These are things that greatly will help you outpace other people who are like, military might is my way, because this game is something that isn't like a lot of other games when you're going against player versus player. If you're into that, cool. If you're not, that's also cool as well. This game promotes both lifestyles. But, long story short is, as you're going and you're getting to different lands, which you end up doing that, you'll explore things like droney stone exploration, which allows you to mine new types of stone, thunder, and so on and so forth, as you can see here. But real quick, let's go ahead and grab one of the research things so we can go ahead and begin this, and I'll show you what happens when you're doing it. So as you can see there, you have 2 options after you've hit that. In case you missed, we'll go over it again, but there is the finish now, which uses your crystals, which I have not spent a single penny, and by the way, I am not at all associated with the developers of this game. This is shit you're able to earn just by playing, and I've played for about a week and a half. So as you can see here, you're able to get quite a large amount of crystals. You can also use the speed ups here. It's something that's a little bit different when you go to buildings and whatnot, but we'll get to it in a second. As you can see here, since we started some research, your little green thing is swirling, and as you can see here, it'll show what you're upgrading, and it'll also show your time limit. So, we need to upgrade a building now. By the way, there's your infirmary. Which, speaking of which, why not? So, before you hit that upgrade button, which I'm sure you're going to be jumping at the bit to do, you want to use your upgrade now for your crystals, or do you want to do upgrade? Traditional style. Yeah, I'll do upgrade now. So as you can see here, we're not able to go through and upgrade with our crystals, unlike the research, which is vastly different. You're not able to use your crystals now. You have to rely entirely on your speed ups. Keep that in mind. By the way, during the infirmary upgrade, in case you didn't know this, with most other games, they're about the same, during that you're not going to be able to really do a lot of the help and whatnot. This is either something that is intended or not. We'll have to see. But it doesn't really make or break the game. You're also able to go here and see, like, all the heroes and whatnot are your blood servants that are working, right? There's also, like I said, blood avoidance, nutrition, occupancy, comfort. Again, you want to continue to upgrade your buildings and make sure that they have the most amount, so that way you can also gain the most amount of stats every single day. Then there's also the things for doing recovery of villages, which is instant production of 5 days, curative medicine, which is instantly heals all 6 servants in your city, in case you really suck at keeping them healthy, comfortable, and hungry, or may I say full. Increases resource production for that, and also increases things of upgrades in your city for the next 5 minutes by 20%. You can see here, it's not really that expensive. And it's something that I keep forgetting to do, I'm going to be honest with you. I've only used, I believe, one thing during this entire testing phase of this game. So yeah. Also, like I said, you want to keep them happy, because each day that you keep them at 90% or higher, you gain all of this. And you receive an email where you're able to get all of it, and they tell you your satisfaction. Then there's letters where you can tell people what to do. Like they're contemplating, this or that, and then they end up going and giving you crystals initially when you select the choice, or they give you crystals afterwards, as you can see here, and also a change in satisfaction. It can either be negative or positive. The more crystals you get is depending on the satisfaction change. Oh, and don't be a dummy and immediately start using speed-ups and power-ups and all this other stuff for everything. Save those. This game is something that, up until about Throne 9, 10, you technically don't really need, and you want to save those for the big events. There's events that run like 7 days, there's things where you can get really cool heroes, which we'll get to here in a second, but yeah, save a lot of the stuff. So, without further ado, let's get to the really cool heroes that I'm sure are on your screen right now, and you're like, oh, let's get to them. So you initially start out with this guy, and as you can see, really cool looking. He's a servant of Dracula, which Dracula's like, hey, listen, go have my land and have a nice time, which, yeah, Dracula's ended up being recruitable as well eventually. So he gives attributes, trait capacity, and he has each individual skill which you can, again, upgrade, but again, pace yourself. You really have to look at those skills and whatnot to see what is really worth it. And by the way, depending on where you are, promotion-wise is where, like, your abilities are. You don't instantly start out with 3 abilities with him. You start out with 2. Like, there's the Force here, and there's also the Sanguine Grip. Also, eventually you hit Equipment, which, yeah, you end up basically being able to boost this. It's really not hard. You can use stones, you can use other equipment, you can use a lot of various methods to increase your abilities, and each time you increase it, as you can see here, each one has about 3 different stats. Though other ones don't have as many. Like, for instance, clearly, Gray isn't going to be beat by an epic. So I'll go ahead and cycle through some of the heroes for you. So I really like some of these. They are visually appealing, really cool looking. Most of them do have voice acting, audio scripts, and whatnot. As you can also see over here, there's Raider, Invader, or Invander, and skills. And like I said, each one does a different thing. And there's also, you can click on this, and you can constantly see the cinematic in its full glory. It's very awesome looking. And pretty good graphics, too. There's also this one, which you get when the beta, or basically when the game first launches, and really is a really powerful hero that is really cool as well. And by the way, isn't a vampire! It's a werewolf! Or fanged warrior, as you can see here. Each one of these, depending on your promotion, is where you get with your abilities. So as you can see here, initially you'll get Hunt, then as you upgrade it'll be Death Resolve. Once you reach Earl 1, you gain basic attacks, have a 25% chance to reduce the defense for 10% for 2 seconds, lethality by 10%, yada yada yada. A really good tank, which you definitely want to have in your corner. A really great witch/magician. And as you can see here, these are also different ones. So the whole thing about this game is, you're a vampire, you team up with werewolves, humans, and the like, and you really kind of do a benefit for the land, I guess, if you want. I mean, it depends on you and how you want to play, if you want to go after other players, if you who, what, when, where. But as you can see here, each one has a different set of things that it does. So catapults, sieges, battery rams. Basically, you get the gist of it. And I love this guy. Really, it's too bad that he is not an actual chef that you can equip to the restaurant. Because that would be just, common sense and pretty cool. So this is something that you are able to get from the 7-day event. So like I said, when you are using your power-ups, speed-ups, and whatnot, make sure to save this for the 7-day events, unless something really means a lot to you. Of course, she had to delay walking on the screen for us. A lot of these guys are also some ones that you can equip to like your storehouse, warehouse, and things like that. As you upgrade their abilities, it's something that gives you more and more. So also keep that in mind. This is one of the legendary heroes, which you're lucky if you get one. I have 3! So I've put a lot of time and effort into this game. But as you can see here, a lot of these are really cool. And that's, like I said, Dracula! Like I said, each one has its own cinematic and whatnot, and it's really cool looking. This one I'm really looking forward to when it can be equipped to the laboratory, because currently, right now, no one is able to be equipped to it. Then there's Edmund for construction purposes, which, by the way, speaking of tips, let's go ahead and get over to that one. So, you equip someone via your construction thing, like over here, which, oh, excuse me, I clicked the wrong thing. This is something that you can get cosmetically. Again, all you gotta do is either get them or basically work, I guess hard in the events. But they look really cool. If you played enough Diablo, that really looks cool for you. But right now I've got this one which increases your construction speed by 5%. They're not things that are make and break, and by the way, I didn't have to spend a single penny. Not a single one for this. And yes, you can get nameplates and other things, which is really, really cool as well. But anyway, as you can see here, there is your basic heroes. So I ended up taking this guy off of the one building he was on, which I believe was the lumber mill, because they don't have all the heroes out currently, as you saw. Basically, I ended up giving him to construction. Could I have used the 2.73%? Yes. Did I want to? No, because lumber is something that is quite plentiful and easy to get. And something that you do need that 2% construction, by the way. As you saw here earlier, there's the Scarlet Hub for increasing light protection or whatnot. Which there is a small, and there's 2 events that initially start, where you will have to try and build against time to get a bunch of perks, like in terms of like things that you can summon, like heroes. You get little blood goblets, and it's just, you know, what is your throne room level, really? And you try and get there ASAP. But as you can see here, you get 4 free summons every day. Yes, that's a graphical glitch right now because of where we've clicked on a few things, but it'll go away here in a minute. And then there's also the advanced one. Every 20 advanced summons you get a free legendary hero and some skill books, which is really, really cool as well. Like I said, it'll end up going away. If it doesn't, just restart the game. Anyway, without further ado, as you can see here, you can summon a bunch of heroes, though you are limited to how many heroes you can summon in a day. Let's put it this way, there's no way I could ever get 2,000 goblets a day. It's impossible. Even if you paid to win, it would be astronomically high. You can use some crystals to do 1 summon, which is okay. I mean, it keeps it balanced. Again, it's not a huge pay-to-win thing right now that I'm seeing, even potentially. So, aside from that, like I said, there's so much jam-packed in this game that I could spend an hour, if not more, talking about this game. You end up going over to the Seer's Crystal. That'll give you quests, like a lot of games. You can end up getting better epics, legendaries, items, more quest rewards, more items, yada yada, as you can see here. Basically, I'm currently out of them right now and have to wait 2 hours. There's also a huge thing, which let's just say, hypothetically, right? You clearly see throne rooms upgrading, research is going, infirmaries being upgraded. Let's just hypothetical. I got all my people out gathering or hunting or whatnot. Ah, man. Well, I guess this is like one of those other games where I have nothing to do now. No, you're wrong, okay? You're really, really wrong. Mystica is a PvE event where you go and, as you can see here, it's like one of those idle games, right? You put some heroes down, this is what you're doing, and, well, they'll farm items for you, coins, whatnot. As you can see here, they even farm equipment, they farm hero tokens, they farm things that you can use to buy things in the store. There's EXP that you end up kind of like hoarding. There's gold that is used for upgrading things in your buildings, like giving more light avoidance and whatnot. It's something that initially you'll want to be careful of how much gold you're spending, but eventually you get so much gold, it's like, what do I do with it all? There's also a cool little ranking system here, which is really kind of cool. As you can see here, I'm currently 14th. It's something that, you know, been doing a lot of other things in this game, so I've kind of like let go wayward. Like I said, you can end up getting tokens here for a legendary hero, which I ended up doing. And again, you can also get him free of the summons as well, but these are things that you need, right? Also legendary books and other things that you can go ahead and I'll show you right here. There's the things down below, right? Which have a limited amount of things. Well, let's just say I bought them all, right? I've got 64,000. Oh man, let me go ahead and refresh. The refresh costs 100 diamonds, and then boom, I've got a full, fresh inventory of the bottom 6 items, which I can now go ahead and purchase with the things that I freely get. Then there is the Mystery Mall, something that I can take resources or crystals and use, and I can buy things, right? As you can see here. Really cool thing there too. Then, this is something that we'll get to in a second, but this is via your arena, okay? 10,000 crystals, which as you can see here I'm 6,000 shy from, is something that basically you can get a legendary chest from, right? Really cool. Back to that. You can get a lot of other things as well, right? As you can see here. Even really cheap things that will help upgrade, you know, your equipment, your normal heroes, legendary heroes, epic heroes. You see it, you get it, you want it. There's also crystals, right? Depending on your level of VIP. Again, not a single penny has been spent so far, but so far I'm VIP 2, which is a constant running thing, unlike a lot of other games where you have to pay for VIP to turn it back on. It's something that I appreciate in one of these games. And then there's also the shop. This is something where, again, you can use your crystals, and you can buy, like I said, VIP, where these get you points, get you next level, get you more things you can have access to, which I'll go ahead and show you the VIP daily login as well here in a second. But as you can see here, every 10 minutes you're able to collect a chest. Keep that in mind. You have a total of 12 hours offline protection, like a lot of games which have none or very limited unless you pay for that, which is really a good perk. Like I said, I'm going to promise to get you the VIP thing real quick. So you can see here, if you do a top-up or whatnot, or if you're able to spend any money on whatsoever on the VIP, you immediately, as you can see here, get 40 Vizels, 20 for the first one. There's your free daily on the VIP 1, free daily on VIP 2. And just real quick, I'll take you all the way through every single one of these. So feel free to pause the video at any time if you want to be like, okay, it's going a little fast. There's a lot of VIP, right? Especially as you get higher up, there is a lot of VIP. This is the final level right now. They may add more, who knows, but level 14 adds quite a bit. But it's going to be a very long time before you get that, so really don't worry about that. Back to where we were. So you're able to unlock the Crimson Arena, right? Everything here is depending on your throne room level as well. Again, like I said, upgrading initially super fast, so don't worry about it. You'll eventually be able to unlock the arena, where you are able to fight up to 5 times free a day. If you want more, the first one is 100 crystals, 200 crystals, you get the idea. Daily buy chances, as you can see here, you can't really inflate that as well. You're able to buy up to 5 a day. That's it. There's no huge pay-to-win aspect there as well. And then as you continue to go through this, you can, like I said, go to your mall without having to go back. Yada, yada, yada. You are able to select your targets who you want to fight. And yes, as you can see here, you do get crystals for fighting tougher opponents. That's a really cool thing as well. You may win some, you may lose some. Initially, don't worry about the guards. Their powers may seem like they're higher than you. Like the Resolute Guard at 1.4 million. You may end up buying it or beating it because it is just AI. It's nonsensical. A lot of the heroes aren't fully upgraded, yada, yada, yada. Okay, don't worry about it. Give it your best shot, but use also common sense. Next up is Lost Fortress. You'll be able to enter. Okay, this is something that you, as I'm sure you've seen some of these games, right? You select which way you want to go, right? Let's just say I want to go over here. You see which heroes you're going to fight, right? And you can select whether you want to or not. And you get 18 of these crystals. As you progress and you defeat each little cell of people, or you're able to heal, you're able to revive, there's a vendor that'll give you stuff, yada yada yada, right? You can even recruit other heroes, which are basically more powerful than you. Be strategic about how you go through this. But I would definitely say, since this looks to be where I'm beginning, I have no bonuses. Every 20 levels, your bonuses are wiped out. But there's for a reason. You shouldn't be able to carry your bonuses forever, because you can get some really powerful ones that will end up just carrying you through this, especially legendary abilities. But also the quick exploration is something that every single day you want to come back to, and you want to hit that. Immediately it gives you basically green chest, depending on how far you've got, blue chest, or in my case, epic chest. And yes, you can end up gaining legendary chests. So yeah, you want to make sure to do this every single day. As I recall, this unlocks at Throne Room like 15, maybe wrong, maybe 14, but yeah. Arena is also something that, yes, if you want to go to the PvP level, let's go. Okay, so you're able to fight other people, and yeah, it's really cool. Then there's also seasonal rewards, right? All the way down to like top 3,000. So that's a lot, and that's very fair. Versus a lot of these games are like, top 50, that's it, hey, how about it? You're able to do your defensive team, you're able to do my feats. There's a lot you can do, right? You can see him kicking a lot of butt. There's a lot of things you can gain from doing these free modes, and especially with, research, everything being pumped out right now, and there's, air quote, nothing I can do, right? Now, I talked about land initially. Like I said, I could talk for hours about this game and give you all the tips and tricks I know, which, by the way, will end up making it fair for you. As you can see here, some of the rankings are 13. Every single day, like I said, depending on satisfaction of your people, you get a bunch of rewards. I've ended up being 18, 13, even first in some of these events. Really isn't that hard, just saying. Okay? There's bosses. I can't get enough of this game. It's actually a lot of fun. But let me go ahead and tell you the biggest part here. So, when you first start out, this is not the map you're going to be on. Okay? You may look at this and may go, oh my god! Okay, you will start out in this land over here. This is your newbie land. Okay, as you can see here, it gives you a detailed rundown of everything. There's a safety level, recommended haul, region, mortality, which means, hey, your guys go through less punishment from the sun, it's nice and shaded, there's not that much to deal with, but yes, you will still have to go through and deal with things. Environment is 1 to 10 levels of things you can fight, food, lumber, stone, rosebuds, which are critical, and a few other things. And you can see here, you can go there. And kingdom status, too. Like, when there's more and more servers launched for this game, you're going to have more and more places you can go. Guild members, it'll tell you a lot of information. You know, is it under maintenance, crowded, busy, idle? Well, let's go to where I originally came from, shall we? And yes, you can even teleport back. Very pretty, isn't it? Like I said, really cool looking. Okay, I went and zoomed in too much, which really shouldn't have done that, but okay, hold on. Okay, back to where we were. So it's really cool looking. And as you can see here, there's a lot of places and bases and things like that. Hey, Mr. Level 9, you're doing a disservice to yourself by still being here. Anyway, as you can see here, there's a lot of plentiful things to get, and it's very pretty. Okay, this is your intro zone. This is, the Mulgore if you play WoW. This is your Mulgore zone. Very pretty, very, aesthetically pleasing, not difficult at all, and very plentiful in resources and whatnot. But again, eventually you're going to want to move on. Which, speaking of moving on, there is something that will tell you when it is time to move on. When you go to your map, which I'll show you down here at the bottom left, you'll be like, huh, this is activate map shards to achieve goals. Every time you achieve a goal, you gain a bunch of stuff. Goblets, speed ups, crystals. This also gives you production bonuses. This gives you increased resources. This also gives you philosopher stone area and everything else. So the next area I go to will literally infinitively give me all of that. Which, hey, speaking of which, let's go back to the map to show you how much potential there is. Yowza! This is like playing World of Warcraft, let's be honest. It really does look like it in a way. So, the next zone is this one, which, again, the aesthetic for this one even changes as well. This one's kind of like Ashenvale / Night Elves, if you've played, again, WoW. And again, looks really kind of cool, right? And when you join a guild, which you'll be able to eventually join, you're able to build guild forts, guild towers, guild portals, a lot of stuff, okay? Which, speaking of guild, let's get to that. Oh, yeah, there's a lot. Not just can you see your assist, you can help other people. There is guild monster, right? Yeah, we captured one. You can upgrade this, you can feed it, you can battle them, you can do a lot with that, okay? There's also your guild kind of like mall, where you can buy things. By the way, these are different from other people's, okay? They're completely kind of like RNG based right now. I don't know if the developers will ever change that. I'm okay with it. You know, it's not something where, you know, everyone's going to line up exactly what they're buying. And also, it's not limited. That's a lot of things that games like this, they're limited to what your GM will put in the shop or yada, yada, yada. This is basically RNG generated every single day or weekly, depending on where you are. And yeah, I really do like that. There's also the guild garden function coming soon, and then in terms of like goals, you're able to get a bunch of stuff. There's settings, which duh, and then there it is, tech. So tech is territory. Okay, you want to make sure to establish guild portal. There's the guild monster lair. There's a few things here. Okay. There's also seeds machines, which is something that you definitely want to do, especially if you're planning on doing PvP, or, well, here, I'll take you to it. Okay, as you can see here, this is a knight's outpost in my region of where I currently am, which kind of looks kind of like a desert, right? There's some cool things. And yes, initially, when you go to do mines, there are people on them, and not real people. These are icons for like AI. You have to beat them, really not hard, very simple, but moving on. The siege weapons are best for these things. Now in your first two zones, yeah, you can go and beat them with your infantry, cavalry, whatnot. It's typically, depending on how many people are helping you, it may take 10 minutes, or it may take you 2 hours. Not even kidding. By the way, you can log off during that time and let your troops do what needs to be done, but otherwise, you know, you may spend up to 2 hours. When this became unprotected for me and my guild, we ended up spending about 2 hours capturing it. It was me and about 6 other people. So that's why I said it may range in time depending on how many people are willing to help you or are able to help you. As you can see here, each one of these has a training speed. Training speed, research speed, yada yada yada. You get the gist of it. There's also the mobs that are on the map. You can either select random ones, or you can go down here to the search function and go ahead and select which ones you want. There's big raid bases that you can attack, and hey, guess what? Yeah, there's bosses. And did I mention bosses? I believe I did. So, yeah. Really cool looking boss, by the way. Gives you a bunch of really cool stuff that you desperately do need. Okay? You're definitely going to want this stuff. These are gems for jewelry. There's chests for scrolls for your companions. Little, you know, remember our little fuzzy guys, right? There's also elite monsters you can fight, and yes, one of them, you end up, every zone that you go to, the elite monster has like a 0.1% chance to drop this little guy. I ended up getting it because, you know, a lot of hard work and determination. Also, he's very cute, so I was like, yo, listen, we gotta get him. Anyway, you come in through this little portal here, and you fight these guys. That's it. About the gist of it. It's really cool fighting bosses and all this other stuff. So as you saw here, there's a lot of land, especially in the area that I'm in, right? And there's a lot of these protected bases that you gain a bunch of stuff from as well. In the first land, there's none. Second land, there's a couple. Third land, there's a lot more. Like I said, this is a game that doesn't rely entirely on PvP. You don't need to actually PvP at all. We really haven't had any. A lot of people have just been testing out the game and wanting to see how far they could get and just really kind of like go and be kumbaya. But as you can see here, there's participation chests. There's guild rewards for your guild if you capture it. There's metal, right? There's a protection period for it. There's also, you know, clan tech points, which is pretty huge. And then there's also, you know, reserve squads, increases next training capacity by 400, and there's a lot of things. So that's just the level 1. So as you can see here, I went to the one that's dead middle in the map. You get more chest for this one, and so this is like in the middle, some of the hardest mobs, some of the hardest things. You get large amount of EXP boost for that one, but let's just go ahead and pick a random other one real quick, right? Like I said, it's right in the dead middle. So right now, technically, you could say, alright, let's say there's 6 top alliances, they can have those. Then there's the alliances here, which could have these outsider ones. Again, you don't need to PvP unless you're like, yo, listen, I just gotta have the middle one, right? Let's go over to here, let's see what this one's got. Boom, that's kind of nice, right? Depending on what you and your guildmates agree with, you may say, okay, I want this. Oh no, that goes Ravenworth too. So, like I said, there really isn't that much need for PvP unless you really want it. So, level 1s give those, level 2 gives that, and then the dead center one gives, well, as you saw, the mithril things, which some people may be jumping at the bits to get, or some people may just be like, is it really worth fighting, you know, how many ever alliances there are to get it? Not really. As much as I would love to give you a preview for this next land, I can't. Which really kind of sucks. Which, if I'm gonna be honest, I think they did on purpose. Like, as you can see here, you need to unlock each one of these fragments in order to go to the next land. And as you can see here, it says Throne Hall level 30. And in order to enter that area, technically, it's level 21 difficulty. I'm assuming that's just for currently where this game currently is, and they don't want people to, you know, bum rush all the way up to there, which some people currently are. There's, you know, one person who just recently became 20. Most people who play at a good, decent pace are going to be anywhere from about 18 to 19 right now if they really use a lot of speed ups and whatnot. As you can see here, I'm 16, and currently I am about 16 hours, I believe, give or take. Oh no, actually 9. I'm going on 10, but 9 hours from upgrading to level 17. So I've enjoyed the pace I've gone at. Again, there's a ton of speed ups, right? I could literally and figuratively do it right now. If I select no universal, I'm still good. But long story short is, yeah, no. Don't use your speed ups unless you're going for the events. Which, just to give you a quick preview, there are guild events. As you can see here, here's the guild calendar. Currently, they show you the whole week. We recently finished one event, and there was also the 7-day event, which we did complete. There's a guild event where you can select things. Like I said, right now, we can't even purchase even if we wanted to. So, 37 million for the switch out for that. You know, I'm currently an officer in my own guild. As you can see here, we've already completed some of the quests. There's one, like I said, for ranking. It's really not that hard. A lot of people, well, I wouldn't want to say a lot. I'd say 1 to 2 people has made a big deal about how, you know, some of us are BS, which, again, as a person who's played quite a lot of these games, as you know, I've even done some on this channel, it's really not hard to get the gist of these types of games, especially in terms of wanting to be ranked. And, you know, at the end of the day, right, getting some of these top rewards is, as you can see here, I'm not going to go ahead and spend a bunch of speed ups and whatnot to get to top number 1. I could get number 1 without any problem whatsoever right now, but I'm not going to do it. I'm in a comfortable spot right now where this is going to end in 9 hours, and I've already completed all of the main things here for myself, right? The thing right here for rewards is just an added kicker, right? So even if I drop down to 10th, I'm still getting, as you can see here, quite a large amount. There's city contests, which unfortunately no one in the zone really got to, as you can see, because it's something that, yeah, we really weren't in here. But there's season rewards. You get little 5-day token things, city contest, you have a chance to win. There you get some crystals, speed ups, things like that. Which speed ups right now is something that is kind of very dry in this game. It's something that isn't given out like candy. A lot of other games are, but then a lot of other games make you build for astronomically long. I recall someone talking about how in one game they're playing one of to upgrade their castles like 20 days. And I'm like, holy crap, that's imagine having to work that long, that hard to upgrade your castle for 20 days, and you're just like, well, what do I do in the meantime? Anyway, Doreen, I've already done one of the trials, because it basically started this game about a week and a half ago, so as you can see here, it is about to reappear. Really cool event where you'll get the hero. And, just to give you a peek of the hero, I've already got her to Baron 3, which you have to go through a lot of upgrade systems. So, for instance, like, I just got this one from their most recent event. He's kind of like a bronze, right? Then there's upgrade to Knight, and so on and so forth, right? Like I said, each time you upgrade these guys, right? Like, there's Baronet, then there's Baron. They will gain an additional ability for most of them. Depending on, like, if they're legendary, epic, blue, green, which I don't believe there is any green, guys. And then there's a lot of heroes that currently aren't accessible in the game. They're things that are going to be released into the game, and I'm looking forward to it, really. I enjoy this game a lot. So, I believe I've covered most of the hard-hitting things that a lot of you are going to wonder about. Here's my feedback in regards to this game. I have enjoyed it, clearly. Put a lot of time and effort into it. It's something that I look forward to more of this game. Again, install it, give it a try. Again, right now, the pay-to-win aspect is not in this game. So especially if you want to try it and see if it is the game for you, it is something that you definitely want to download. As a person who has run across bugs and whatnot during the testing of this game, it's something that you can report in the Discord. They have a server for that. It's something you can report in the appropriate channel, and they will get to. Just to give you a perfect example of this. So, like I said, I don't want to spoil the story for you, but one of the items for the story, and to progress further, was not being rewarded as it should have been. Within literally a couple hours of reporting that, and even though we couldn't even use this item to go forth and to be further, right? Nobody has been able to do it. In order to utilize that, they automatically fixed it within a couple hours. I myself did not run into the bug that other people's had, so that's one of the reasons why I have 2 cloth. But they awarded another one just in case. Right, to everyone across the entire server that was able to log on and click on this mail and go, claim. That's it. Another one was literally just, hey, there was an issue involving, need to fix the airship. Here's 20 basic ascension stones, right, as an apology gift. The devs have been pretty much on the ball in terms of bugs. Like, they usually will fix them in a matter of a couple hours. Not even kidding. There is a huge suggestion thread also in the server that I've wrote pages upon pages of suggestions for this game. This is one of those games where I hope does not become as you said, no from other games, a huge pay-to-win thing. For instance, if you've played Frozen City or even want to check it out, it's a good game, but and I've done a couple videos on that. It's not a huge pay-to-win game. It is something that you can enjoy, you can casually play, and it's something that you do get your time, time to effort to time spent back. And this is one of those games that also gives that as well. Like, I have enjoyed playing this game, and this is one of those games that I would actively give the developers back money to support them. Now, one of the things I would like to say is, I would like to see this game be a little bit different than the other pay-to-win games where, and this is a couple of my suggestions on the Discord, where it was, you know, you could release cosmetics. Not even kidding. So one of the things you do is you get these little mice guys. You don't have to pay for them at all. They're little guys that literally just will walk and transport things to and from an area, and it's just something that it's aesthetic, right? So one of the things I proposed is, as an idea, is let's just say I buy a Halloween bundle of cosmetics. Again, this is a way to support the developers, not something that's pay to win. Suddenly I've got jack-o'-lanterns outside, maybe some cobwebs, instead of these guys being little mice guys that do this and do, like, you know, this little visual aesthetic here. Maybe they're spiders that, you know, kind of like carry the crystals on their backs in like a web cocoon, and maybe we make the roads a little dilapidated and trees and whatnot a little bit more eerie. Something that developers can make and do, and I know a lot of you right now are drooling at the bit of that idea, and especially figuring a lot of people I know buy a lot of cosmetic things, especially in the games that they actually like really enjoy, and they're like, you know what, I would love that, that would look sick. Like you saw the castle upgrades, how they visually will look different on the outside, right? Yeah, and imagine the buildings being a little more dilapidated, and you could release that as a Halloween bundle, and, or just, hey, just a random bundle that would make things look different than everyone else's castle. And, hey, you could even put a skin on the outside of the castle, too, just to be like, look, I bought this, maybe make it a giant jack-o'-lantern, or something that looks really, really cool versus the one I currently have, right? And it's something that just, hey, look, I bought this, I look really cool, and it's something that I did to support the developers, and yeah, it's something versus pay to win. It's just something that I would really, really enjoy. I have these creative ideas. Any game that I test, I always come up with ideas, and I do reviews and whatnot, and I review this game as something that I do see a lot of potential. I do see, basically, a lot of enjoyment from this, and, yeah. I really wish them the best, and hopefully you all enjoy this. Hopefully you all install it, check it out, and again, if you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comment section below. But aside from that, yeah, I know this was a lengthy video because this game has a lot to offer in it, and I'm sure a lot of you right now, if you've reached the end of this video, you're like, there's so much, but hey, guess what? You can always fall back to this video at any time and go back to what I've went over, see what I've done. Maybe you can do things better, maybe you can do things different, and yeah. Aside from that, I just have one personal little thing at the end here. So, like I said, I've played a lot of games, and especially these types of games, to the point I've done reviews on other games and done playthroughs and whatnot. Yeah, we ran into one man baby in this game. That thought his prior knowledge in games like this, and especially playing this game, he thought he was going to be ahead and be #1, and then when he got beat, not even kidding, when he got beat, and you can confirm this with everybody on the server, when he got beat, he went to the Discord, decided to rage and vent like a baby, was eventually, I'm guessing, removed from the server because he's no longer there, said the developers are cheaters and whatnot, and was raging because he was not able to win the event. Yeah, no, he thought we were cheating and everything else. And, you know, again, hold on, I'll show you. You don't have to cheat, right? As you can see here, there was a lot of up and downs in the event. It was a 7-day long event, and you know your ranking it differs, right? Especially for arena, there were some people who complained that, you know, there was some shenanigans going on in the arena and whatnot because they were losing to people who are lesser than them. And the thing is there's always games like that where if you have a really powered up hero that was able to carry the team of other heroes versus someone who, you know, let's be honest, let's say all of your heroes are level 41, all my heroes are level 41, but my guy's been fully upgraded in the spells, and you've not upgraded your spells. I'm going to beat you 100% of the time because you did not upgrade your spells. Keep that in mind as well. I guess another tip before we go. But like I said, if you happen to have any other questions, any other concerns, whatnot, drop it in the comment section below, and I will be glad to reply to you. But don't be a man, baby. And, yeah. Love your beautiful faces. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace out.